The definition, and I kind of want to go through this. There's a distinction. There's a distinction between sales and selling. There's a slight distinction, but when I think of selling, when I think of being a salesperson, right? When I think of like selling you on something, like right, I'm trying to trick you. But when I think about sales, I think about there's a transfer of something that's valuable to me that I have that you feel like is 10 times the value, and you're willing to kind of take that thing in exchange for whatever, right? Money, valuable stuff, like you're willing to just let shit go. So I recognize that there's a distinction, that I'm not just selling you on something. I'm in a sales capacity. So I'm actually giving you something that you feel like is valuable and I feel like is valuable because I value that shit. Right? That's a mindset, right? So I want you guys to get that. That's mindset. There's no spell check on my whiteboard. So the mindset I want you to have is this. First, I want you to understand something. We as salespeople have a moral obligation to sell people something that's of value. A moral obligation, because one thing that I know for sure, one thing I believe to the fiber of my fucking being, and I want you to believe this shit too, that if you and I have an encounter and you call me based on my marketing, based on my message, and you're the right person, I'm morally obligated to actually sell you something or help you do what you need to do because you reached out to me. I'm clear on that. I will go above and beyond the call of duty to do that, because I also have to think that, let's say, for example, you call me because you want to sell a property and I'm buying it, right? Because I'm an investor. If I let you off the phone and you say you have a problem, I have to believe, one, when you call me, that you have that problem and you don't have a solution for it, or you wouldn't have freaking called. I mean, that's just common sense, right? The second thing is this. The moment I get off the phone with you and you and I haven't come to a decision, I have to believe that the worst case scenario is going to happen to you and your family is that you're going to lose that house. If you're in pre-foreclosure, it's gone. You ain't going to be able to fix it. No one's going to touch it, because the thought process is this. If I believe that what I do is the best in the world, and that's an intention you got to have, you got to think that the shit you do is the best in the world, right? At least have the intention of it, right? You can't suck forever. So if I believe, my mindset is that my service, what I do, how I do my deals, how I structure all my shit is the best in the world, and we get off the phone, even though you have a problem and you say, hey, I'm not going to do it, nah, this doesn't work for me, I got to assume that you're going to lose your shit. Your family's going to be on the street. Your property's going to get taken back by the bank. The sheriff is going to grab its mattress, and your kids are going to be crying, and your wife's going to be like beating on your chest. Oh, I hate you. All that shit's going to happen because you and I didn't come to an agreement. So I will morally push you into the fucking right thing that I believe is for you and your family, because my mindset is very clear. I'm morally obligated to sell you something because I am a salesperson. I'm a salesman, and the shit that I believe in, I actually offer to people because I believe in it, right? I'm my own client. I've had to use my own service. I've had to fix my own shit and my own real estate, you know what I mean? So I get it. And I teach other people the way that I do it. It is your mindset above all else. The 20% of the shit that's going to work for all the things that I'm going to teach for you, right, is going to get you 80% of the results. 80% of your 20% of the shit I'm going to share with you today comes from your mind. Now, here's the deal. You're going to have to sit down, take out a piece of paper, write out all the shit that you've went through in your life, challenges, the shit that you've overcome, and I want you to remind yourself that you are so much more than just somebody selling some shit. You're an overcomer. You're an achiever. You're a high-level player. You're a top producer. No, it's not the money you've made. It's what you've had to overcome in your lifetime. So when you talk to people, I want you to get it in your head. We're in the business of empathy. If you can't empathize with another person about where they are, what they're going through, whether they got a wife and a kid and a husband, or they're buying a car and they want to feel good about it, they want to have like a super, whatever it is you do, right? You want to have the shit in their life that makes them feel better or solve a problem. You got to know that you've had those problems too. So when you talk to people, that's the shit you bring to the surface for you. You got to fight for them just as hard as you fought for your family, hard as you fought for yourself. Because if you don't do that, man, you can't succeed. And whatever's going on in your mind, outside of where you set your mind, matters. So I set my mind on the principle that, one, I'm morally obligated to sell you something because I believe it's going to change your life. And I want you to take a look at your service, whether you're a real estate investor, agent, flipper, retailer, whatever it is that you do, right? You have to feel that in your soul. And when you take over a property, you're going to make that shit better. You're going to change the lives of the person who sold it, or the person you buy it from, or the person who buys from you, and all the people involved in that. 100 years down the road, man, that's your fucking legacy. And if you don't fight like hell for that one little space, and you don't get your mind set on the fact that that's your job, that's your position in life, everybody can't do what we do. If you don't understand that up front, it's your moral obligation to do that, that you are going to change people's lives because you have a skill set very few people have. And that number one skill set and mindset I want you to hold on to is empathy for people. Business is all about empathy. Putting yourself in other people's shoes. And then selling them some shit that you know is going to help them change their lives, even because they can't see what we do. We do. And I want to know that. So before we get into all the other shit, the 3 different personality traits that you're going to understand, I want you to understand your mindset first. The psycho salesman knows himself first, right? What is that law? Know thyself, know everyone else, or something like that in the Bible. When you understand you, when you understand your moral obligations to sell, and you understand your own empathy and all the shit you've had to overcome in your life, dude, you get it. We're all hardheads. You're not in sales because you had this huge shit going on in your life and everything was awesome. You get into sales because you probably were like, dude, I got to make this work. And if I don't sell something, I don't eat. And I will eat, and I'll eat well. That's my shit. And that's probably your shit too, right? So take 5 minutes out. I want you to write down 5 shitholes that you had to pull yourself out of in your life that you believed that you were the only person going through them. That you had to take some time and go, man, if I don't do this, I could lose my family. If I don't do this, I don't know where shit's going to be. You know? What was that for you? What was that moment that you took some time and you go, damn, I have no answers for where I am right now, but I got to make something happen. And that kind of sets you on the path that you're on right now. No matter what it is you do, it could be good, it could be shitty. I mean, you could have lost everything, or you could have kind of like scratched the surface and just questioned who you were as a person that got you into selling stuff, and you fell in love with the thing that you offer to people, right? The service you provide for the world. Think about that moment for a second. And then think about the people who contact you and where they may be, because they're probably where you were in your darkest moment, right? If you're in sales, and if you're not in a bad thing, it's just maybe you just do loans and you like wanted a better house loan, or maybe you started helping people get the right shit and you know that it was going to help them and their family. I don't know what it is you do, right? From that perspective, if you're in the real estate game. But remember, the mindset that you need to have is you're morally obligated to do this thing and come from a place of empathy. Come from a place of caring and giving a shit about other people and the things that they're going through right now. So when we get into these next phases, you'll really understand as you begin to know yourself and you know them, you can better understand how to position the thing that you sell and how to talk to people, how to walk with people, know your audience, know the mindset of them, and actually move them to make a decision with you, yes or no. Because there is no fucking maybe, right? It's either they do it or they don't. And like I said, if they don't do it with you, the assumption in your mind has to be that, shit, I got this other problem. You don't want to be washing your body in the shower and go, shit, how am I going to do this? What are we going to do now? That's where they're going to be at if they don't buy from you. That late night bullshit, hug your pillow and cry shit. You have to assume that in their mind. So don't just lay over and let people say no and walk off. It isn't about fighting them to the death and shit like that, like dueling and fighting swords. But it's about understanding like, hey, look, when you show up to actually solve people's problems, you're there for business. You're a freaking salesperson. And you understand what's going on in their head because you understand what's going on in your head. And that's what's in your mind. Okay? So, the next training is going to go over the next thing that I like to talk about, the 3 personality traits. This right here is gold. If you can get nothing more out of this training but this right here will actually, I can say you'll get 3 times more sales than you would ever have because you just understand who you're talking to. And when you understand that, you can put the mindset of you being morally obligated, understanding and the empathy for them, and also understanding how they communicate. Because how they communicate with you is how you're going to have to communicate back with them. So you understand that you ain't just like trying to stab them in the chest, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit, or let me buy your shit, let me buy your shit, let me buy your shit, but actually come to you because they want to, right? There's nothing better than actually being in a situation where people want to freaking sell to you or want to buy from you. That's the shit that we're in right now, and that's the shit that I want to help you guys do, all right?